Hi, and welcome back to The Whole Doctor. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that many people are not aware of, and that is our fascia and this amazing modality of structural integration. So, fascia is our connective tissue. It's basically what webs and holds our entire body together. So it's very, very similar to like a gelatinous, very fluid-like matrix, and it infiltrates all of our entire body, our nerves, our muscles, our joints, our ligaments, our tendons. It essentially holds the body together like a vast web-like network. And like when I was in medical school and we were learning about fascia, we really didn't give it any attention. If we were in an anatomy dissection lab with a cadaver that had been preserved in order for us to learn anatomy, then the fascia tissue itself was just very, very hard and fibrous, because that is what happens when you soak a human body in formaldehyde to essentially store it for dissection in an anatomy lab museum for medical students to learn about the human body. So we didn't really get an appreciation of fascia, and the surgeons would briefly talk about fascia, and it's basically just what gets in their way. They have to cut through fascia in order to get to the bits of the body that they're interested in. So fascia hasn't really been given very much emphasis at all, anatomically, let alone energetically or functionally in the human body. So what's been very interesting is all the study and work done by Tom Myers, who essentially did a lot of cadaver dissection, a lot of anatomy work to discover the anatomy of the fascia in the lines in the body. So what do I mean by that? So the fascia he identified actually runs in trains, and he termed these anatomy trains, and they're like tracks that run throughout the entire body, and they're like lines. And interestingly, they actually correlate quite closely with the meridian channels of the traditional Chinese medicine system. So only recently have we really been able to see what fascia is and does in an actual live human body that hasn't been preserved. And they've been able to do this through the technology of fiber optics. So they're able to have an awake patient inject some local anesthetic and insert a fiber optic cable under the skin to actually see what happens in a forearm when a patient is moving their fingers and their arm around. And what we've discovered is that the fascia does not have a fixed structure. It is very, very hydrated, and it is very mobile, and it's changing, and it constantly moves and shifts depending on the body. So if you have surgery, if you have an injury, then it's going to damage your fascia as well. And to the extent where the fascia will scar, it will toughen up, it will lose its hydration, it will lose its flexibility. And that's another key point. It's our fascia in our body that actually gives us a great deal of our flexibility, particularly as we age. Our fascia will start to dry out, and with lack of movement, with injury, with inactivity, we actually start to dry out our fascia tissue and lose a lot of our flexibility. So fascia is fascinating, and it's something that we all should be paying a lot more attention to. Types of things you can do for your body that really nourishes your fascia is variety in your activities. So things like walking on soft sand running, hiking, bouldering, trail running, walking on uneven surfaces, getting your shoes off as often as possible, bouncing, rebounding, and of course my love, aerial yoga. Another thing that's fantastic for fascia is activities like dancing, and specifically belly dancing, because it's a variety of movement in the body, and that really nourishes the fascia. Now, what I want to talk about now is these amazing practitioners that have been trained by Tom Myers and the Anatomy Trains school to basically work and manipulate people's fascia. And why would we want to do this? Well, it takes your body work to a whole other level beyond what various practitioners such as chiros and physios might be able to do, because they're working on the connective tissue throughout your entire body. And applying the knowledge of the anatomy trains, understanding that a single fascia line may run from the heel of your foot or under the sole of your foot all the way up your back body, all the way to the crown of your head, really gives some amazing capacity in releasing a lot of malalignments in the body, a lot of pain, a lot of restriction in movement. And they can do that in a location that is remote to where you might be experiencing those symptoms. They also work in a 12 series, so they'll actually have 12 sessions with you where they work on every single one of the Anatomy Trains lines, essentially realigning you from the outside in, working on all of that fascia tissue to help release any adhesions, any restrictions, any stagnation. So it's an absolutely fascinating modality. I've been really enjoying my structural integration sessions, and I'm so grateful that we have a couple of practitioners where I live here in Adelaide. It's a very new bodywork specialty. So look around in your local area and try and find a structural integrator near you. You can look up the Anatomy Trains website, and that may be of assistance to you as well. But what I've found and what I've recommended a lot of my friends and clients to structural integrators for is it just goes so much more beyond a massage. Now I will go and have a massage for relaxation. I don't do it as a therapeutic tool as such. When I've got restrictions and limitations in my body, when I've got habitual patterns in my movement, it's a structural integrator that's going to be able to really get down and nitty gritty into those areas and actually realign things. Your pelvis might be asymmetrical, your torso might be twisted, and it's due to the fascia patterns in your body, which a structural integrator can help resolve. So what's a session look like? Well, my structural integrator, and I believe most of the structural integrators, work in like a 90-minute session, and they will work on targeted areas depending on your needs. But essentially, it is like an in-depth massage that's very targeted, but you get up and down off the massage table quite frequently because they have to constantly check their work. It really is like they're sculpting clay. So it's not as relaxing as laying down and almost falling asleep with a gentle massage. You are up and down. It's a partnership exercise. You are working with the practitioner to actually realign and bring out all those stagnations and restrictions in your fascia tissue. It can be profoundly relaxing, however, because our fascia is one of the most sensitive tissues in our entire body. Lots of nerve endings, and so you actually can get a deep sense of relaxation. Fascia can be very sensitive to pain and discomfort. So sometimes some of the manipulations might be a little bit uncomfortable, but you know that at the end of it, it's doing so much good for your body and working out potentially years of patterning and restrictions. So if you're keen to learn more and I haven't addressed it in this video, please comment on the video. I'm really passionate about this modality and getting it out to as many people as possible. You know, don't maybe keep going to the same practitioners, the same people, getting remedial massage if it's really not giving you lasting results. Working with a structural integrator could just take your awareness of your body, your functionality in your body, your pain, and all of those other aspects, your emotional health, to a whole new level. So please feel free to comment. I'm more than happy to assist you, and try and find a structural integrator in your area. I almost guarantee you'll be booking in with them far more frequently than your regular massage practitioner. Take care, have a great day, and see you next time.